But here's the thing that I'm really, really excited about. I have these 10 or 15 or 20 people that I was able to solve this one problem for. And I got them to a point where they had so much qualified opportunity on their calendar that they were able to start knocking down big deals, and it created this whirlwind of momentum in their business. What is happening, Sales Ascenders? So excited. Sean here for another Taco Tuesday high ticket tune-up. I hope you guys are having an awesome week and you have closed deals. That is what it's all about, right? Like making sales, helping people create the impact so you can get the results that you want and you can help them get the results that they want at the same time. Today's question is a doozy. I'm super excited about it. Ryan asks this. He says, Sean, which is the best sales tactic I should use during a sales call? Now, let me be real for a second. There's so many good sales tactics out there. There's so many amazing sales systems, right? Like when I first started in my journey as a sales professional, I sucked. I was so bad. I was on the phone, banging phones, and I got to a point where I didn't even want to pick up the phone because I thought it weighed like 800 pounds. I was like, dang it, like I just have to go do more calls. Like this sucks. And I was banging my head into the wall. And my boss at the time came in and says, like, yo, Sean, you better go figure it out. So that's when I picked up a book. And in fact, I should find the book that I picked up because I still have it in my shelf. Hold on. It's somewhere here. It's a Tom Hopkins book. It's this one. Look at this. This is the very first sales book. Look how sworn it is. It's the very first sales book that I picked up back in like 1999, 2000. And man, I met Tom Hopkins. I've had lunch with him. He's awesome. He's a friend of mine. And the thing is, and as I was reading that book, I was like, oh, there's all these amazing tactics. And I just started doing one. And then I tried doing another. And then I went to a conference and I pulled another tactic and I put that into my system and I kind of duct taped it all together. That became my selling system. And guess what? It worked. Amazing, right? Then I advanced into myself into like kind of the next level where I went from B2C to B2B. And I was like, oh, I need a selling system that I can follow. And this whole time I'm like, oh, I need to learn more. I need to learn more. And you might be in that same place. You're like, I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to get there. But you do, right? So I'm here to share that you do actually know how to get there. And the key is that you can build a duct tape tactic system like I did. You can follow definitely a great selling system if that makes sense for you. But the key is having a normal selling conversation is the answer. Having a conversation with people is like the secret key. And there's a couple of things that you have to catch in every single sales call that you jump into. And here they are. So the first one is you have to kind of bond and connect with the person. You have to have something that you can talk about, that you can be real with, that you can just say, okay, we're good. We've broken the ice. And that's all it is, right? The way to do that is to literally mirror and match what they're doing for about 90 seconds. And what I mean by that is talk in the same speed, talk in the same volume. If they tell a secret, you tell a secret. If they talk slow, you talk slow. If they talk really, really fast and really excited, you should be really fast and really excited, right? And you just do that for the first 90 seconds, and that's cool. So you've got the bonding part done. I love always having setting the rules of a sales call. Very important to do that. It establishes the sales pro as a trusted advisor. And then the other three pieces are like the main thing that we should focus on, right? What's the pain that you solve? What's the thing that you can create the result for them in their business and you can help them to create more sales? That's the thing that you need to focus on. So if you go back into your offering and you say, my business, my service, what's the one main thing that I solve every single time? And then just go start asking people like, hey, do you have this problem? Let's talk about it and dissect it, right? So having a normal conversation is going to be the right answer when it comes to what's the best sales tactic, because there's so many out there and a lot of them will work. All of them actually work in specific situations. But the key is that don't disconnect yourself from the prospect because you're trying some fancy sales move. Your prospect's going to feel it. They're going to know it. And they're going to kick you out the door. And it's never a great place to be, right? But instead, if you come at it from a genuine, hey, look, like we're kind of connected. Here's the rules. I want to ask you some questions. I'm sure you got some for me. At the end, we'll figure out if it makes sense to even keep talking. Great. That's the rules of the sales call, right? That's easy. And then you say, well, look, my focus is as I help business owners who are struggling to put qualified opportunity on their calendar because it's either taking too much of their time, hunting in the wrong place, or they're just not getting the results that they want. If that's your problem, like, look, let's have this conversation. And then I will start asking a bunch of questions about where you're trying to take your business, what's holding you back. And literally that is the most important part or tactic in any sales call, is literally just to say, this is the problem I solve. I need to see if you have it. Because if you don't have it, guess what? I'm disqualifying you, Mrs. Prospect. Like, I don't want to work with you because I'm going to waste your time. It's not a good fit. And when the sales professional or the business owner gets to that place where, like, hey, I know this is the thing I solve, and you can go out and you can have that hard conversation and ask all the questions around it, and you're just having a normal conversation, you don't need any fancy sales tactics. You literally just have to be a human having an interaction with another human, and those become the most authentic, the most genuine, and the most real sales conversations, which create big results, not only for yourself, but it also puts you in a position to say, yes, I can solve the thing that you're struggling with my course, with my program, with my service. I know it because I've done it 1,000 times or 100 times or 10 times. You only have to do really 5 times where people are like, oh, you've done it 5 times? Like, that's a lot of times. Like, you could probably help me. Great. Let's talk about that. And then you go down the path. And then once you understand that you can solve a problem, kind of the next things in the sales call is literally you just have to understand that they have the means to invest time, energy, and money into your program. Because if you're going to get somebody that's involved with your program, but they're not going to commit the time, guess what? They're not going to get the results. So you should disqualify them. That's why we always say, when we teach sales, it's a disqualification, not a qualification. Most every other sales system that I've ever come across and been part of, and I've studied lots of them, are always, you got to qualify. In our case, you have to disqualify. Why? Because listen, you should go into every conversation thinking this is a perfect fit to do business with. And my job as a sales professional is to see if I can, like, chink the armor, if I can make it so that they're not a fit. And then I'm going to kick them out of the door, because this gives me the control. It allows me to come from a place of trusted advisor, calm confidence, or as Chris always talks about, conviction selling. Because when I'm convicted and I know I can solve this specific problem, I'm hunting with a rifle to say, hey, are you the person that has this problem? I can solve it. Let's have a conversation. And that becomes the best tactic in a sales conversation. So again, the answer for you guys here is tactics create commission breath. Let me explain what commission breath is. It's that place where you've been, where it's like somebody's talking to you and you're like, ugh, like, stop trying to sell me. I feel it. It's pressure. It sucks. If you've been in that place, write a comment down below, because I could tell you, man, that's crazy. Let's see. Rock Davis is in the house. What's up? It's fire. And Chris says, I'd like to welcome Barbara Sayers into the group. Barbara's the co-founder, CEO of Sister to Sister Enterprises. She focuses on online focused groups and biz dev. Grateful you're here, Barbara. Thank you for being a member of our group. Thank you for that comment, Chris. That's awesome. But again, guys, the best sales tactic that you can ever do in any sales conversation, period, is be a human and have another conversation with the human. And focus on the one thing that you know you can solve for them to create impact in their world, in their life, in their business. And don't even worry about money or anything like that. Focus on, can you solve a problem for them or not first? And then if you can, then you just have to jump over the speed bump of money. You also have to jump over the speed bump of how they make buying decisions. That's the other part that's really important, right? Because if you can understand who in their can solve the problem, you figured out that they have the time, the money, and the energy to actually commit to getting the problem solved. And then you know who in their organization is responsible for making decisions like this, who's going to be the executors, when it's going to happen, what the timing sounds like. Other than those 3 components that anyone needs to close any size deal. I've closed deals of 7 figures. I've closed deals of $100, right? But the same thing applies. The only difference is what's the value of the problem you're solving for that person, and what's the impact. So imagine the impact that it will make in your business. So for example, again, I always come back to our own stuff because it's really easy, because I talk about it every day and I love it so much, is solving this, putting qualified opportunity on the calendar. Because leads are great and everyone can go grab a bunch of leads all the time. Like, there's so many tactics and there's so many people that are so amazing at driving paid ads and all this other stuff to get leads. But leads are garbage unless they're the right people and they get on your calendar and they're qualified for the thing that you're trying to solve for them, right? Then that's the most important value of, like, having a lead, getting on your calendar. But if you can, input in, input out, right? So if you put garbage into a system, you're going to get garbage out. If you put high quality into a system, you're most likely going to get high quality out of that system. And so that's where it becomes so imperative to really pick and choose the avatar that you're focused on when you first start interacting and engaging and hunting in kind of that outbound method, right? So with that said, guys, again, don't create commission breath. Commission breath stinky. Nobody wants it. Get it out of your life, right? Have a normal human to human convo, and that will for sure be a byproduct of putting a bunch of money into your bank account. So remember, the answer to this one, Ryan asks, he says, Sean, what's the best sales tactic I should use during a sales call? And I would say any of them will fit, but you got to know when and where to use them. The best thing to do is literally just have a normal human to human interaction and conversation. Be genuinely curious about the problem that you solve. Ask a lot of questions around that area and make sure that you can solve it, because when you can solve the problem first for them that you solve with your service or your product, the rest is easy, right? It's like, what's that one big domino? The reason we focus so much on putting qualified opportunity onto a calendar is that we know that when you stumble into that conversation, if you have the right opportunity on your calendar, you will close the right type of people into your world, and that will allow you to create impact for those people. And then guess what happens? You get paid and you get kick-ass testimonials, and you can just run on the results, right? Because a lot of people, Russell Brunson always talks to me. He says, I asked him, I was like, man, tell me about like your credentials and all this stuff. Like when people bring that up, he's like, well, here's the deal, Sean. He said, most people don't care about your credentials. Most people say, oh, you got a college degree. That's great. And then that's the end of that whole conversation. But if you can share with them, hey, look, yeah, I got an education and that's awesome. But here's the thing that I'm really, really excited about. I have these 10 or 15 or 20 people that I was able to solve this one problem for. And I got them to a point where they had so much qualified opportunity on their calendar that they were able to start knocking down big deals. And it created this whirlwind of momentum in their business. And it put them on these big stages and they got this humongous result. That's the problem that I solve. And that's where my credentials come from. And that's the only thing that I need. If that's interesting to you, let's keep talking. And literally that becomes the whole piece about credentials and results and everything else. So with that said, guys, I hope that answers that question. Just be a human, have a great conversation with people, and solve a problem. That's the focus of this message for High Ticket Tune-Up today, is if you spend time identifying what is the problem you solve, and then finding the person that has that problem, and you have a normal human-to-human conversation, you will close so much business. It will be disgusting, and you will love it, and you will create the results. Go fight, win. Happy Taco Tuesday, and I love you, face. We'll see you again tomorrow.